Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're going to be looking at Frank Miller's Wolverine 5-issue miniseries. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty good video. I had just finished reading this today, and this is one of the videos I had planned out for a few weeks. And I've heard a lot of great things about this story. And yeah, I was pretty impressed by how good this actually was. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So the story pretty much starts off with Wolverine basically tracking down a raging bear, basically. And this bear was revealed to be kind of like poisoned by some hunters, kind of just wanting to mess around. They didn't even, kill the bear after they poisoned it. And this poison basically adds to some type of like rage, medicine. And basically causes the thing to go berserker, so Wolverine has no choice but to kill it, because it going berserk actually killed a few people and families, it seems. So yeah, it's pretty messed up. So after Wolverine, finishes off the bear, he basically heads off to search for the dude that shot the arrow that made the bear go berserk, and he eventually finds the dude, and the dude kind of like disrespects Wolverine and smashes a beer mug, in his face. And it's implied that Wolverine basically beat this guy to a pulp, but decided to spare his life. So that, that's pretty cool that Wolverine did that, but this dude probably didn't deserve that, considering he got a ton of people killed. Now, Wolverine basically is shown, return letters from his love, Mariko Yoshida. And Mariko is the person that Logan loves, that lives in Japan. So after his letters kind of like sent back to him unread, he basically tried calling the Japan home, and they didn't answer his calls. They kind of like hung up on him, and he said that was a bad idea, bad move. And he basically gets an air flight to Japan, so he heads over there. Now, while he arrives at Japan, he basically talks to his friend Asano, basically finding out that Mariko was actually forced into marriage by her father, that was actually gone but returned to the throne. And this all happened while Wolverine was away, I guess, with the X-Men. And yeah, it's pretty messed up. So Wolverine says he's gonna go try to fix things, and Asano kind of like recommends him not to, because this will probably just end up hurting Logan in the end. But Logan decides to go after Mariko, and eventually he finds her. And Mariko is revealed to be, getting, physically abused by her husband, her new husband. And Wolverine is not happy about this, and basically says that he'll take care of things. And this new husband basically arrives and just, starts bad-mouthing Mariko, and Wolverine's about to, just kill this dude for being kind of like, a piece of crap. But Mariko basically stops Logan, and Logan leaves. And while he's leaving, he actually gets poisoned and knocked out by some unknown people. And this will get revealed later on. Now, Mariko's father, Shigen, basically tells Logan when he wakes up that he's going to offer him his daughter's hand in marriage if he's able to defeat him in sword combat. So Mariko's father, Shigen, is actually pretty good at using sword combat, considering how old he is, and Logan praised him for this. And Logan and him basically get into a fight, and the fight's pretty well choreographed, but eventually Shigen defeats Logan. Now Logan wakes up in some alleyway after he had to defend himself from some gangsters, it seems, the Yakuza. He basically gets taken in by this lady called Yukio, I believe is her name. And yeah, Wolverine and Yukio basically have to fight together once he recuperates against the Hand, which are kind of like the foot. The foot was inspired in the Ninja Turtles by these people. So yeah, they're called the Hand. And Wolverine basically is able to defeat the Hand pretty easily. And Yukio basically tells him that they need to find somewhere safe, so he takes her to somewhere safe. Now, while they're in some type of an apartment, Yukio basically tells Logan what exactly her goal is in taking down Shigen and kind of like restoring order to Japan. And she tries to make some advances on Wolverine, but Wolverine kind of knows that his heart belongs to Mariko and kind of denies her advances, which she doesn't take really well, basically cursing, Mariko. Now, it turns out that Yukio is actually working for Shigen and trying to kill Wolverine, kind of like assassinate him and kind of trick him into, this situation, this trap. And he basically tells her that he feels like she's getting a little too soft with Wolverine, kind of like falling in love with him. and kind of wonders if she's going to keep her into the bargain, and basically puts her in her place. So yeah, it's pretty big reveal that she's actually working for Shigen. Now Wolverine gets, word that there's going to be something going down, and he goes with Yukio to this play area, where they're doing this kabuki play, and Mariko is there with her new husband, as well as another couple. Whenever one of the actors, I believe it's the lead actor that's playing a samurai in the kabuki play, basically goes in for the kill to kill Mariko, and Wolverine can't stand by and see this happen, so he goes and attacks the kabuki samurai, and he defeats him. I believe he kills the dude, and now more people start coming out, guards, to avenge their master, basically. And yeah, it's pretty cool. We get to see this fight scene with Wolverine going berserker and killing all these stage people, these samurai. And Mariko is basically in tears seeing Wolverine as a berserker, because Wolverine had never showed this side of himself to Mariko. He tried to make sure that she never had to see him like that. And Yukio basically smiles, saying that she has, Wolverine to herself, because Mariko can't possibly love someone like that. And yeah, just remember, Yukio is like an assassin herself, so she's used to killing people and seeing people get killed. So they're just pretty much polar opposites, her and Mariko. And she believes that she's the better option for Logan. But yeah, so Logan basically kind of has to accept that Mariko will probably never be his. And he tries to, drown his sorrow in fighting with people in bars and drinking his problems away, basically. And so he fights the sumo wrestler. And eventually he heads out once he, knocks the sumo wrestler out of the entire place through a window. He heads out with Yukio, and Asano shows up, basically asks Wolverine's help in trying to fix Japan with the way things are going with Shigen and his clan. And Wolverine basically tells him to take a hike, which is pretty sad considering what's going to happen, next. So Wolverine and Yukio basically have a romantic night out where Yukio almost gets them both killed by a runaway, not a runaway, but a train. Basically, she was sleeping on a train track with a Wolverine, which Wolverine didn't notice because he was so drunk. And only with his super hearing and reflexes was he able to save both of them. I'm pretty sure Wolverine would not have died from a train running over him, but he does accept that Yukio would have died for sure. Now, they get attacked by the hand, and Wolverine is, being defended by Yukio, basically, while he's, in his drunken stupor. And yeah, basically, Yukio tries to, wake Wolverine up, and Wolverine basically says Mariko in his sleep. This kind of gets Yukio mad, and she kicks Wolverine, kind of sobering him up, it seems, but knocking him out at the same time, which is kind of funny. And she basically heads out, and it turns out that Wolverine heads to see where Asano's at, and Asano has been killed by Yukio, and it's pretty sad. And Wolverine knows Yukio's the one that did it, because she used her signature blade that she uses and her scent on it. So Wolverine basically tells Yukio, who's behind him, that she has only a few minutes, to kind of get away from him, and that she's not going to get a second chance in trying to kill Logan, that she needs to try running away. And this is what Yukio decides to do. She crashes through the window, basically heads out, and Wolverine eventually makes his way to her and is about to kill her, whenever she basically tells him that this is what she would want, to die to someone like him, that her and him are not that different, that he wants to die too. And it's pretty, messed up. But eventually they get confronted by the hand, and Wolverine has to make his way through these people, these assassins, these samurais. It's a really cool fight scene. That's one thing this, series did really good, was the fight scenes. I really enjoyed them. And yeah, so after that, we get to see that Yukio basically made her escape, and Logan has no idea if she made her escape to save her own skin, or if she really did defend him and is actually a good person. But he doesn't know. All he knows is that he kind of had an awakening and understood that in order to move forward, he has to accept that he's more man than beast, considering his berserker nature because of his mutant ability, but he still has some sort of control, and he is indeed a man. And he says this is going to be Shigen's downfall, and looking at Wolverine as just a beast that can't think or something like that. And yeah, so now we go into the concluding issue. Now, Wolverine basically makes his way throughout the entire Japan city that he's in, and basically takes down a ton of Shigen's fortresses, his bases, and basically weakening his power. And eventually, people are telling him, that work for Shigen, that no one's gonna respect him if all his stuff is getting taken down so easily. So Shigen says that he knows that Wolverine's gonna come for him tonight, that he and Wolverine are gonna have to fight each other, and that this is the only way things can be. Even though his guards say that they should take care of it, he says that he knows that him not, defeating Wolverine will not bring honor to his name, therefore, weakening his power over the people that he controls. So he basically grabs Yukio after he grabs her in a trap, basically, tells her that he awards her combat to prove herself that she can kill him instead of, sticking up on him, and he basically beats her to a pulp, and is gonna kill her whenever Mariko basically stops him from killing her. And yeah, he hears that Wolverine is here and heads off to go, get ready for the battle. And Mariko's husband basically shows up and he has a gun and tells Wolverine, after Wolverine comes in front of him, that if he doesn't come out from the shadows, that he's going to shoot Mariko and kill her. And eventually, Yukio basically protects Mariko and takes out her husband, basically killing him, and she frees Mariko from her bindings. Now, Yukio goes to where Wolverine's at and basically tells Logan that she loves him, that she wants to stay by his side and fight by him, and he says that you can't, and it's implied that he kills her, but I don't know if he kills her. It's one of those things where it says that without another word she's gone, and that he doesn't forgive her for killing Asano, but he can never repay her for protecting Mariko. So it's just one of those situations where it's like, he says, so I let her go. It's one of those situations where you're like, I have no idea what this is implying. It could mean that she's dead, or he just knocked her out. So I believe there's a story that happens after this, so I'm going to check out what that story is and read it and maybe bring it to the channel, and we'll learn her fate then. But yeah, going forward to the final climax, so you get to see that Wolverine tells Shigen that he said he wasn't worthy of the blade last time they fought. They fought with like stitched swords, but is he worthy now? And this is where Shigen basically tells him they're going to find out right now. And they begin to engage in their final battle. And yeah, this fight scene right here is actually really well done. It has blood, it has, good choreography, and the fight has meaning. Wolverine has seen what this guy has been doing to the entire city. He's seen what he's done to Mariko, making her suffer for months or maybe even years to, physical abuse from her husband. He just hates this dude with everything. So they fight, and eventually this dude stabs Wolverine in the stomach or the gut, and Wolverine basically takes, he takes his other sword and he tries to stab Wolverine's neck, slice his head off. And this is where Wolverine uses his, mutant ability, and he uses his claws and basically kills Shigen, I guess either decapitating him or just, stabbing him through the neck. And Mariko shows up and, kind of like screams for her father, and it's shown that he's dead. And this is where Wolverine believes that Mariko basically won't forgive him, and that she'll take the blade into her hands and try to fight him. And he says there's 100 different ways that he could kill her without her even knowing what hit her, but he does nothing because he loves this woman. But it's revealed to Logan that after she gets the sword from her father, she basically tells Logan that he alone is worthy of using this blade, taking it under his wing, because her father basically defiled the entire family name by being so evil and using his power for corrupt means. And yeah, it basically shows that Mariko is not wanting revenge on Logan. And the story ends. The last, page we get to see is that Logan sends the X-Men basically a letter saying that he's going to get married to Mariko and that they're all invited. So I believe that there's a story where they go to the wedding, so I'm going to see about reading that and bringing that to you guys, because that sounds super interesting. And it seems like a great conclusion to this story. And yeah, but I mean, this was good too for a conclusion. But yeah, so we get to see that Mariko was actually taking control of, I think, the empire that her father left, and is actually getting, not revenge, but getting justice on the people that were doing all these bad things to the people of Japan, in that city. So hopefully that city goes into, good hands, and that Mariko's able to do a good job as the emperor or empress. And it looks like, Wolverine is going to get married to her. And overall, I just enjoyed this ending because Wolverine got what he wanted. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with the X-Men, we'll see what happens with Yukio, and we'll see what happens with Wolverine and Mariko. I think the Silver Samurai is supposed to be the villain of this story that's supposed to come up after this. So I definitely want to check that out. So I thought the Silver Samurai was the villain of this miniseries, but apparently not. And it was Shigen, Mariko's father. So that kind of blew me away. But yeah, that's gonna be all, guys. Overall, Wolverine by Frank Miller in this 5-issue miniseries was really good. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did, considering that I do think Frank Miller is a little overrated. But there are some works that he did that are actually really good, such as 300, and now I would put this as well in one of those great works that he did. Definitely Wolverine's miniseries is amazing, and I do recommend you go check it out. I have a link in the description down below to go check it out on Comixology. Go check it out legally. And yeah, go read this, masterpiece or whatever. This was really good, and definitely is a highlight of Frank Miller's work. But until the next video, guys, God bless you, and until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity, so I could see how you